The people and structure of the Ontario government. The executive branch is the group of people who manage the day-to-day activities of the provincial government. It includes the Premier, cabinet ministers, their staff, and those people who have career jobs in the civil service. One of the major principles of our system of democracy is that the executive branch must maintain the confidence of the legislative branch, which is comprised of the elected representatives. A government can lose power if it loses the confidence of the legislature, also referred to as the House. This might occur when a vote on a major government bill, such as the budget, is lost. In general, there are three groups of people who work on the executive side. The first group includes the Premier and cabinet ministers. They are MPPs first, with the Premier also being the leader of the party. Cabinet ministers are responsible for the ministry they are overseeing on behalf of the government. All new regulations, legislation, and funding requests by the ministry are signed off by the minister. The Premier and cabinet ministers are expected to consider new policies and programs that may require new laws to be passed. They balance advice from the ministry staff and their political staff. They advocate on behalf of the ministry at cabinet. They act as the public voice of the ministry, and with the deputy minister, they set implementation on government policies. The second group is the civil service. These are career officials. They will have a job in the Ontario Public Service regardless of which party is in power. Each ministry has a deputy minister, who is the highest-ranking civil servant in the department. Deputy ministers are responsible for the management of the ministry and the implementation of the government's policy direction. Assistant deputy ministers are responsible for the operation of a division and the delivery of service within a ministry. They report to the deputy minister. And then there are other officials who report to assistant deputy ministers, including directors, managers, and policy analysts who are knowledgeable about a particular area of their ministry. Civil servants are expected to provide nonpartisan advice to the minister and political staff about new policies and programs being considered, or changes to existing ones. They manage the day-to-day functions of the ministry and implement government and ministerial direction. The third group is comprised of the minister's political staff. These are not civil servants, but they work with the civil service. If their minister moves to a new ministry or loses their cabinet post, they either move with the minister or they may lose their jobs. Each minister's office is headed by a chief of staff. The Premier also has staff, who oversees all direction across all departments. The minister's staff report to both the minister and the Premier's office. The minister's political staff are expected to provide political advice to the minister. They ensure their direction and policies are aligned and consistent with their election commitments and the values and principles upon which they were elected. Political staff support the minister in decision-making, communications, and stakeholder relations, including meeting with outside groups on the minister's behalf. They work with the civil service in setting direction and problem-solving, and they manage relationships with other ministers' offices and the Premier's office. All of these people are important to OREA's advocacy efforts. Your work with your local MPP is critical to OREA's success in working to achieve the policies and legislation to support realtors.